Happy Thursday 2027. Hope you're ready for today, because I found this on YouTube. Oh yeah, I'm going to use that all day today. Let's start with the PDN. If you have not answered the PDN yet, please go ahead and pause the video and go ahead and finish those 3 questions. If you have finished the PDN, keep listening while I review the answers. Question number 1 wants to know, why does Mr. Pearson stand out in the crowd? Now, there are a lot of reasons why he might stand out. He's carrying a clipboard. He has a lot of stuff like pencils and whistles and safety pins. He also is super clumsy, and it says he drops things all over. However, the text clearly says that he is standing out in a crowd because he is on stilts. So I'm going to go ahead and circle choice D. This is my evidence. He sticks out in a crowd because he's on stilts. I have to go back into the text to find that answer. I cannot just assume or guess based on what I read. I need to be very careful and go back and make sure I find my answer. Choice D is the correct answer for number 1. If you move on to question number 2, it's a little bit more difficult. It asks what causes green leaves to change color in the fall. So they want to know, why do the green leaves change to different colors? If you go through the text, you'll find that there's a sentence that says, as chlorophyll is lost from leaves, other yellow and orange pigments are revealed. So it's saying that as chlorophyll is lost in the green leaves, then orange and yellow starts to come out. The sentence before that says that chlorophyll is the green pigment in photosynthesis. So therefore, I know that chlorophyll makes the leaves green, and because it's lost, that is when the yellow and the orange pigments or colors start to come out. So B is the correct answer. Chlorophyll breaks down or goes away, and that's what makes the leaves change colors. And last but not least, question number 3. What caused the young men to be filled with despair and hatred? It says in the last couple of sentences, too many young men were filled with despair and hatred. That tells me that they had hatred. It doesn't tell me why, so I have to keep reading. They thought it was hopeless to search for a vision when the glorious life was gone and the only hated confines of a reservation lay ahead. They definitely didn't think that they needed to have a vision, but it doesn't say that they quit having vision, so choice B would be out. It does say that they hated the confines of a reservation, and if I carefully read the text, I see earlier that they were made to stay on the reservation. So I can put those 2 ideas together and say they were confined or stuck to their reservation, so that makes A the correct answer. Kind of like we're confined or stuck in our houses right now. These men felt they were stuck on their own reservation, and that is why they had so much hatred. Please go ahead and double check your answers and make sure that you have D. Told you it was going to come. Then make sure you have D, B, and A circled and complete. Today, guys, we're going to focus on using the text that we've read the last couple of days to create a Venn diagram. So what you're going to have to do is get into the text that we've already read to figure out what is similar or different. Now, for some of you, you might remember what the texts were already. For some of you, you might not. So we definitely have to make sure if we don't remember what we read, we go back and we use those texts. So now I'm going to pull up on my computer the Venn diagram that you're going to fill out. I tried to make it so that you guys could write in this Venn diagram, but you know me, I'm super old and technology is very difficult, and I couldn't figure out a way to do it. So there are 2 ways you can do this right now. The first is you can just take out a piece of paper and you can draw the circles yourself and you can write in them. Or the other way is you can figure out a way to type in there even though I couldn't do it. If you type in there, you can send that to me. If you draw it on a piece of paper, you can take a picture of it and send it to me also, just so I can double check your your Venn diagram. I'm going to try to flip the phone around so we can see our Venn diagram. Now, hopefully, don't know if you noticed this, but I fixed the upside down part from Monday. Hopefully it's no longer upside down and it's right side up. This is what your Venn diagram should look like. You know, because we're comparing and contrasting 3 texts, that it has to have 3 circles. Then you have to make sure that the circles line up perfectly so that all three of them are touching in the middle. Just two of them are touching on these sides, and they're all single over here. So I was nice, and I labeled the circles for you. This will be for Susan B. Anthony, this will be for Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and this will be for Malala. I'm not going to go ahead and type in here because I want to see what you can come up with on your own. But I will give you a little bit of an example that I've already thought about. I know that Malala was not a lawyer. I know she wasn't a lawyer because she was a young girl and still is very young and is not older like Ruth Bader Ginsburg. So what I would say for Ruth Bader Ginsburg is that she changed laws. Lawyer, and Malala was not a lawyer, so that makes Ruth Bader Ginsburg different from them. I can then focus on Malala, and I can say that she changed lives by fighting for the rights for women to have an education. If you remember, Malala was not fighting for women's rights to vote or equal rights. She was fighting specifically for the women's right to have an education. So I can say that in her circle that she changed lives by fighting for a woman's right to have an education. And last but not least, I can go over to Susan B. Anthony's circle, and I can say that Susan B. Anthony also changed lives by fighting for the women's right to vote. The difference is that Susan B. Anthony did not have a chance to vote. Because of Susan B. Anthony, Malala and Ruth Bader Ginsburg all were able to vote in elections. So they didn't have to fight for the women's right to vote because they were already allowed to vote. Susan B. Anthony was not, and that is why she fought for that. Those are 3 examples. I want to see if you can come up with some more to tell me either A, how all of them are the same, or how Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Malala might be the same, how Malala and Susan B. Anthony might be the same, or how Susan B. Anthony and Ruth Bader Ginsburg might be the same. You do not have to fill all of the circles, but you know there should be at least enough information there that you can write 3 examples of how they were similar or different. I will have office hours today again, the same time as always. If you have questions about this, show up there and we can review this even more. Have a great Thursday, and I'll see you tomorrow.